Hey everyone, welcome back. So let's see how behavioral activation can be used to treat ADHD. We did OCD last time. Let's try ADHD. So behavioral activation can be a highly effective approach for individuals with ADHD, not by curing the neurobiological differences of ADHD, but by managing its behavioral manifestations and their impact on daily functioning and well-being. ADHD often leads to difficulties with executive functions like task initiation, procrastination, difficulty starting tasks, especially if they are boring, overwhelming, or require sustained effort. Sustained attention and focus, easily distracted from tasks, organization and planning, challenges in structuring time and tasks, impulsivity, acting without thinking, interrupting, making rash decisions, emotional dysregulation, difficulty managing frustration, boredom, or excitement, avoidance, avoiding tasks or situations that trigger these difficulties, leading to diminished life. A BA therapist would work to break the cycle of avoidance and inaction that often accompanies ADHD challenges, helping the client to increase engagement in meaningful activities, improve mood, and build a sense of accomplishment and competence. Here's how a behavioral activation therapist might treat ADHD. 1. Understanding the ADHD avoidance cycle. The therapist educates the client on how ADHD symptoms can lead to behavioral patterns that worsen functioning and mood. For example, difficulty starting a task, ADHD symptom, procrastination, leading to feeling overwhelmed and guilty, leading to lower mood, leading to further avoidance. Easily distracted, the ADHD symptom, leading to failure to complete tasks, leading to feeling incompetent, leading to lower self-esteem, leading to avoidance of new challenges. Impulsivity, leading to rash actions, leading to negative consequences, leading to shame and regret, leading to withdrawal from social situations. The therapist emphasizes that action can lead to a shift in emotional state and improve competence even if the motivation or focus isn't initially present. 2. Activity monitoring and identification of ADHD-related avoidance. The client tracks their daily activities, noting their mood, energy levels, and specific ADHD-related challenges they encounter. Crucially, they identify tasks avoided, what important or valued tasks are being put off, bills, paperwork, house chores, applying for jobs. Situations avoided, what social situations, learning opportunities, or responsibilities are being sidestepped due to anticipated difficulty, making phone calls, attending meetings, starting new projects. Time sinks, what activities are they hyper-focusing on that are not aligned with their values or goals? Excessive gaming, endless scrolling, getting lost in unproductive research. This isn't avoidance in the typical sense, but it is an unproductive behavioral pattern. Values clarification. The therapist helps the client identify their core values: financial stability, creativity, strong relationships, health, learning, contribution, organization. Purpose. This step is critical for ADHD because it provides intrinsic motivation. When tasks are connected to deeply held values, they become more meaningful and less likely to be avoided, even if they require sustained effort. It helps differentiate between what I should do and what matters to me. Example, if a client values financial stability but avoids budgeting, the therapist links breaking down budgeting tasks to this value. Graded activity scheduling, the core of behavioral activation for ADHD. Based on the activity monitoring and values, the therapist and client collaboratively schedule specific concrete activities. This is where BA directly targets ADHD challenges. Key principles for scheduling. Start small. Micro steps or fractionation. Breaking down overwhelming tasks into incredibly tiny, manageable steps. This is paramount for ADHD, where task initiation is a major barrier. For example, clean the kitchen. Instead of clean kitchen, it's put one dish in the sink, then wipe one counter, then take out the trash. Example for write a report, open the document, then type the title, then write one sentence. Time boxing, the 5-minute rule. Commit to working on a task for a very short defined period, for example 5 to 10 minutes. This helps overcome initial inertia, and often once started, individuals with ADHD can continue beyond the initial commitment. Specific and concrete. Avoid vague goals. Call John about the project at 10:30 a.m. on Monday is better than work on project. Action-oriented, not motivation-oriented. The emphasis is on doing the activity regardless of whether they feel like it or not, or feel focused. The belief is that engagement will generate motivation and focus. Inclusion of pleasure, mastery, and social activities. Pleasure. Scheduling enjoyable activities that the client might neglect due to disorganization or overwhelm. Listening to music, pursuing a hobby, spending time outdoors. These provide dopamine boosts and positive reinforcement. Mastery. Scheduling tasks that provide a sense of accomplishment, even small ones, organizing one drawer, finishing a small work task, cooking a meal. This builds self-efficacy. Social, scheduling social interactions to combat isolation and reinforce positive connections, especially if social difficulties are a consequence of ADHD symptoms. External aids, integrate practical tools commonly used for ADHD, calendars, planners, alarms, reminders, checklists, visual timers. These act as external cues for activation. Body doubling, suggesting working on tasks alongside another person, even virtually, for accountability and focus. Troubleshooting barriers to activation. The therapist actively helps the client anticipate and problem-solve obstacles that are common with ADHD. Distraction, develop strategies to minimize distraction, turn off phone notifications, close unnecessary tabs, using a specific focus, the environment. Forgetfulness, rely on external reminders and consistent scheduling. Lack of immediate rewards, emphasize immediate self-reinforcement for completing even tiny steps, taking a short break, a small treat, acknowledging success. ADHD brains are highly responsive to immediate gratification. Perfectionism overwhelm, reinforce the idea that done is better than perfect, and that starting small is the key. Emotional dysregulation, if intense frustration or boredom arises, guide the client to shift to a different pre-scheduled activity briefly, or use a quick calming technique and then return. Monitoring and reinforcement. Clients continue to monitor their scheduled activities, marking them as completed and noting their mood or sense of accomplishment. The therapist reviews the client's progress, celebrates wins. It highlights the direct link between increased activity and improvements in mood, sense of control, and functional outcomes. And relapse prevention. As therapy nears completion, the therapist helps the client internalize the principles of BA. They develop a plan for maintaining structured activity levels, identifying early warning signs of disengagement, and applying BA strategies to future ADHD-related challenges. The focus is on building habits of initiation and follow-through. So what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on how behavioral activation can help with ADHD? Let me know in your comments, and I'll speak to you next time.